Okay, I'm Vincent Zakian, and this is my mediated speech. And I'm going to talk about two things that seem pretty unrelated, but I'm gonna make it work. I'm talking about the Armenian genocide. I'm Armenian, by the way, and Ocean's 11, one of my favorite movies of all time. And I love Ocean's 11. It's star-studded, directed by Steven Soderbergh. Stars Brad Pitt, George Clooney, and what I feel really sets it apart is it's great from start to finish, but its third act, is what really sets it apart. And I'll set the scene here. Spoilers ahead. The antagonist, Andy Garcia, is viewing George Clooney and his friends robbing him, robbing his casino safe, the Bellagio safe. And he thinks he has him dead to rights because he can see what's going on. He can call the authorities. Boom. The scene changes. The feed coming into the security camera changes. And it turns out that the safe has already been robbed. They were watching a recording. And that George Clooney and Brad Pitt and their band of merry men have escaped with the money. And so the recording that they were viewing on the security camera served as kind of a smokescreen. And before anything could be done, it was too late. And I feel like this perfectly translates to how the Armenian genocide has been handled after the fact. I know it's a lot darker than the movie Ocean's 11. So I'll give you the context here. World War I really served as a smokescreen for the Ottoman Empire's ethnic cleansing of the Armenian people. And while the world and the Ottoman Empire as well kind of turned their attention towards World War I in Europe, the systematic genocide of over 1 million Armenians went almost entirely overlooked. And like in Ocean's 11, by the time the world found out, it was too late. I'll give a little brief rundown of the Armenian genocide. It began April 24th, 1915. That is the recognized start date. And Armenia is known as the first entirely Christian nation, and it's a small nation. And the Ottoman Empire was strictly Muslim. And they used fear of potential Armenian resistance against their regime to justify forcibly converting, arresting, deporting, killing, and sending Armenians on death marches in the Syrian desert. Over 1 million died as a result of the Armenian genocide. And that's the rundown of it, but since then there has been genocide denial. And since the Ottoman Empire's obviously fell over 100 years ago, Armenia is again an independent nation. They were occupied by the Soviet Union as well. But now they are an independent nation. However, just 33 countries recognize the events that occurred in Armenia at the time as genocide. And crucially, Turkey is one of those nations. Turkey obviously was the Ottoman Empire. Now they have become condensed back down to just Turkey. It was denied by its perpetrators while it was being carried out, as they claimed that Armenians were displaced for militaristic purposes, and incriminating documents detailing the genocide were destroyed. And if you've seen Ocean's 12, you know that once the thieves got caught, they owned up, and they didn't deny what they had done, saying that they were moving the money to a more secure location or something. But life isn't a movie, and the question really is why? Why deny this? You know, in most cases, admitting is the first step. Even with Germany, to rebuild its credibility after World War II, they took responsibility for the atrocities the Nazis committed during World War II. But those are at the front and center of worldview, really. At the end of World War II, when all these stories of the Holocaust came out, but the Armenian genocide was never front and center because of the smokescreen of World War I, and so Turkey's never really had to deny something that they have taken such little heat for, that they haven't lost credibility for it. It would be the right thing to do, but when has that ever been in the general interest of any nation, right? So why should the atrocities of the Armenian genocide be recognized? I mean, again, it's on the morally good side of things. Armenians obviously deserve some kind of reparations for what they've been through. everyone who perished as a result of the genocide is recognized in the Armenian Church as a martyr, which is like a near saintly position. It's a small nation, and a big chunk of its population was taken out, and is the reason why the Armenian population is really just spread thin in the world right now. And obviously Turkey needs to be held accountable for what they did if they are going to deny the actions of their if they're going to defend the actions of their predecessors or try to justify them. Then if those actions are deemed as genocidal, they absolutely need to face consequences. If they choose to take that side. If they don't, if they own up, maybe some kind of healing process can begin. But at this point, I mean, there really aren't going to be any good short-term results for Turkey just because they've kicked it down the road for so long. And the Turkish government faces very little pressure from nations to recognize it as genocide other than Armenia, because again, it's never been at the center of the world's attention, and the truth is the world was blinded by World War I. And the fact that other countries didn't receive news of the Armenian genocide, or it just wasn't, newsworthy, which is remarkable, meant that when news of it eventually came out, and when Armenian immigrants came to America, other people just couldn't connect to it. And I mean, this has led to many countries, including the United States, turning a blind eye to the denial of an event. That hurt is still felt 100 years later. Thank you.